Ready? Okay, good morning, and thank y'all for being here this morning. I'm R.J. Larizza, the elected state attorney for the 7th Judicial Circuit. I've called this press conference today to talk a little bit about the Pineapple Corporation and how the investigation and the prosecution is going to progress. The defendant in this case, Spencer Calvert, has been charged and arrested for several first-degree felonies. They're all level 7 offenses and carry mandatory prison time. Basically, what made this possible is Florida Statute Chapter 713, and specifically 713.345. That basically, I call it the robbing Peter to pay Paul statute. What we have here is several homes, 13, I believe to be exact, that are in various stages of construction. And what we know so far is that while the defendant collected over $15 million in deposits and draws from these folks, subcontractors were not paid to the tune of at least $900,000. And in Florida, that is a crime. Didn't always used to be, but back in 1990, this statute was created, and it's progressed, it's evolved since then, but it gives us the opportunity to address this type of crime, where folks take their hard-earned savings, they provide it expecting to get a product, a quality product in return, in this case, custom-built homes in an affluent neighborhood of St. Johns County, and some of these homes have a slab and that's it. Some may have some framing, some may have roofing. There are various stages of completion, but the homeowners now have to pay these liens. So they've actually paid it once by giving the contractor their hard-earned dollars. And then what happens is the contractor takes that money, and we know where it didn't go. Some of you may be going, well, where is the money? Well, that's part of our investigation, and you can rest assured that we're going to get to the bottom of it. But what I can tell you right now is where the money didn't go. It didn't go to the subcontractors, and it didn't go to the completion of these homes. Now, Calvert was taken into custody on Thursday afternoon. He has bonded out of jail. His passport has been seized so that we make sure we don't want him fleeing the country. We want him to stand accountable and to the prosecution for these various charges. I can't compliment the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office enough. Sheriff Hardwick and certainly Sergeant Kyle Cubbage and Detective John McGuire, along with our investigators, our Deputy Chief Investigator Mike Taylor, and our Certified Fraud Investigator T.C. McIntosh. I want y'all to know, and I want the public to know, that these cases are very difficult to investigate and to prosecute. And for many years, a lot of agencies didn't have the ability. They just didn't have the manpower. They didn't have the expertise. Well, not in St. Johns County and not in the 7th Circuit. We have an excellent group of investigators. We're actually training investigators throughout the state of Florida and beyond on white-collar crime, including construction fraud. So I am very grateful, and we are very fortunate to have that quality of law enforcement here. The charges are grand theft more than $100,000, misappropriation of construction funds, and organized scheme to defraud. We've seized over 66 boxes of documents, over 14 computers, cell phones, and because of your coverage, we have heard from the community, other individuals in other situations, not with Pineapple Corporation, but potentially other charges with other contractors of folks who are in a similar situation. So thank you for that. That's been helpful. $15 million, we believe, was potentially or at least partially misappropriated from 13 different victims who have come forward. We have one family here today, the Dorrance family, that I'm aware of. There may be more that we invited to come. They've asked that you not ask them any questions today. They are participating, cooperating with the investigation. And of course, our goal is not only to hold the defendant accountable, but also to get some restitution back to these folks. We can't guarantee that they'll get all their money back or how much they may get back, but we are going to pursue all avenues to assist them to become whole again after having experienced this fraud. It's been a nightmare for all of these folks. Some given as much as $2 million plus to have their homes built, and of course we know that never happened. Finally, I'd like to mention to you that this is a disturbing trend in our communities. Look, Northeast Florida, as you well know, is a very popular destination. It's become more and more popular. Folks are moving here. Hence, we have folks like the Pineapple Corporation building homes and making nice communities. The problem is it's a target-rich environment. Sometimes it's fueled by greed. Sometimes it's fueled by just incompetence or sometimes other circumstances. But what we see happening more and more is that contractor fraud, where individuals are not paying subs or they're not completing their work, is becoming more of an issue. I mean, we've had roofing companies, Carlson Roofing, cabinet companies, paving companies, pool companies that we are prosecuting throughout the Seventh Circuit and beyond. So I want to ask folks who are contracting with us, with general contractors or with other individuals. It could be a pool they want, or it could be, a cabinets that they want, or a new bathroom. Do your due diligence. Check out the contractors. Make sure that they are licensed, and make sure that they have a track record that is positive, that they are completing their work. Now, in this case with Pineapple, the frustrating thing is they did have a record of completing homes. But something happened. As I said, it could have been greed, it could have been misappropriation. What we know for sure is that it was criminal, and we're going to be pursuing it. But if you're self-funding a home, let's say you don't have a bank involved, then you have to be the bank. You have to talk to the subs. You have to confirm that these stages are being done before you give more money. And if you have a bank, make sure you talk to the bank, because they'll come out and confirm the work is done, but are they checking with those subcontractors to confirm that they've been paid? So those are things I think that may help you to be able to avoid this in the future. I'd like to take a minute to ask Sheriff Hardwick to come up and speak. As always, we appreciate the professionalism of him and his agency. Sheriff? Yes, sir.
Mr. Larizza, first of all, I want to thank the Office of the State Attorney, 7th Judicial Circuit, under State Attorney Mr. Larizza. Their subject matter experts are the reason why this collaboration and why these victims we can hold these suspects accountable. But this is a case where we had 13 victims. It's occurred since 2019 to 2023, over $15 million. And here we are today speaking about $900,000 in lien on their own property for doing the right thing and hiring a contractor that was reputable at the time. I'll wait a minute. A contractor with Pineapple Corporation who was possibly reputable at the time, and that's why they hired him. Well, let's fast forward now to what the cost of construction is now for these 13 victims. It's much more than what it was back in 2019 to 2023. But again, I'm going to echo my Mr. Larizza's statements, what he said about the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office under Sergeant Kyle Cubbage and Detective John McGuire, but just working with these 13 victims to go through this entire process. But again, we appreciate the cooperation we have with you and every agency we work with. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Larizza.
Okay, and folks, if you have any questions, answer them as best we can if you do.
Can you describe when is the best time for people to get police involved? Because there are so many homes going up throughout St. Johns County. It's scary, obviously. So what is the solution, and what are some warning signs? I know you said, following the banking, but when do I need to say, hey, I need Sheriff Hartwick, I need to get the police involved right now?
Excellent question. One, we saw in this case, inducement. We call it inducement. In other words, hey, need more money if you want this house completed on time. If your contractor's being pushy, if they're insisting on more money and they're not providing you documentation, that's a red flag. Also, if you have subs that aren't showing up, or slow if the work is happening, if it's not happening according to the schedule. You know, it could be a lot of different things. Hey, talk to the subs when they come out. You know, hey, is everything okay? Because a lot of these subs had been paid by Pineapple in the past, so they were trusting to some extent. And then, you know, they're left holding the bag, and of course, they have the right to file a lien. So anything and everything you can do to be on top of what's happening when it's your home, it's your forever home that's being built. The other thing is hold the banks accountable to do their jobs when they are providing the funding. It's not enough to just say, okay, or this stage is done. What about the subs? Have they been paid or not? That's a very important thing that needs to be answered.
Do you think Culver was working alone, or is there any other entities or any other partners that are under investigation?
All we know right now is that he was the sole chief. He was the CEO, the CFO, the president, the registered agent. This is what we know now. Now, as we uncover more documents through these, 44 boxes of documents we have, we may get additional information. And if additional charges are warranted and other individuals are involved, we'll pursue those as well. It's too early to answer that question fully right now.
Are you guys asking if there's other victims out there to come forward? Because maybe there's more than you all even know about right now?
Yes, but I think I think for purposes of Pineapple, we've done our best to exhaust all possibilities of victims. If there are, we'll certainly bring them on the fold. But the interesting thing is we're hearing from folks who had relationships with other contractors. This could lead to it could, I'm not saying it will, but it could lead to other prosecutions involving other contractors. We'll have to wait and see.
So what about collaboration with the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, and looking deeper into, because if I look at what seems to be a trusted corporation, I don't know what the warnings are then.
Right. No, and that's the scary part. Sometimes folks have a track record that is positive, and then one day that changes. It could change because, like I said, there's so many things. It could be greed, it could be bad business practices, it could be taking on more than you really are geared to take on. You just have to look at each case and each situation on its own merits and be today in our digital age, you know how much you can find out about folks by just going on the internet. So just work the social media, work the clerk's offices, work the Better Business Bureau, work the Chamber of Commerce. Anything you can think of that might give you some information to help you make a decision that'll help you avoid the situation our victims are in here.
And speaking about the victims, you talked about making them.
Get some money back, sometimes they get it all. Rarely in that situation. Sometimes they don't get any of it back. There's two parts to this process. One is accountability, holding the individual who's committed the crimes accountable for what they've done. The other part of that is trying to get the victims restitution. And so there's a balance there between the two. We'll be working with the victims. We'll be talking to them about their losses. We'll be trying to quantify those. And that could be part of the process when we work with the defendant and his legal team to try and resolve the case.
Of the victims you know of, are you seeing any sorts of similarities within, anything that maybe made them possible targets?
Well, I think all of them trusted, Pineapple Corporation, again, because of the history of Pineapple Corporation. But I think also some of these folks self-funded, which, you got to be careful when you self-fund because you don't have a bank or a mortgage company looking over, what's happening. I think the subs weren't paid. I don't think there's a single home where subs were paid in full. So those are the similarities that we've uncovered so far, maybe more as the investigation continues. Okay?
Talking about Pineapple Corporation, we know that they have done work with the master builder of Nocatee, the Park Group. And that Park Group is heavily involved in this area. Is that group under investigation?
No, not at this time. The Park Group has been very cooperative. And I think they want to be partners from what I understand at this point to assist the victims, as this moves on. Understand the Park Group has created a wonderful community in the Nocatee community, quite impressive considering all the things they had to go through. So I think they certainly would want this to do their part to try and help. I haven't talked with the park group, but I know several of the folks involved there, and I'm sure that they will engage in some discussions with us as things go forward. Okay? Folks, yes, ma'am.
I'd like to switch gears if that's okay. I'd like to ask, there was a motion to dismiss the case against Rogelio Aguilar Mendez. How is the state going to respond to that?
Right now, Menendez has been found incompetent.
Okay.
And that really puts a stay on all court proceedings. We really can't do anything at this point. Look, we want to resolve the case. We will continue to work with whoever's representing, the defendant in this case. But at this point, competency it really trumps everything. We filed a motion, I think, in response to the motion to dismiss, and beyond that, we really don't have any comment.
Understood.
Okay?
If that's okay, you've seen the body camera video. You saw the medical examiner said that Deputy Kunovich did not die of a homicide. Can you still put this in front of a jury?
We're attempting to resolve it as best we can. Right now, the competency issue is trumping any other avenues. So without trying to be difficult, it's not appropriate for me to address that at this time. Okay?
Thank you.
Anything else, folks? Thank you so much. Have a great day. All right.